Are we on yet?
I'm all the way up. Nothing can stop me. I'm all the way up. All the way up. All the way up. All the way up. I'm all the way up. All the way up. I'm all the way up. Nothing can stop me. I'm all the way up. Show what you want. Show what you need. What you need. My niggas run the game. We ain't never leave.
What's up, guys? It's the Last Pick Podcast. I am Matty, your host, coming to you from the loft here in Jacksonville, Florida. Hey, we are the Last Pick fuck. You know what? Fuck it. We'll keep it. Hey, we're the Last Pick Podcast. We're here to have some fun. Promise not to offend. We'll talk all kinds of sports, and we'll have a fun time with it. Thanks for joining us. Hope you enjoy it. Happy Tuesday, guys. Thanks for joining us. It is, again, Tuesday night. Got a lot to catch up over the weekend. I am flying solo tonight. I'm in the loft by myself. Smitty is still on vacation. We'll be back, I think, next week. So I may have a couple solo episodes. I'm trying to find a co-host. I got my boy Vesta out there, but he hasn't responded on coming on the podcast on such a day. But I'm trying to get somebody in to co-host when Smitty's gone, or he can host when I'm gone, or whatever. We're not quite set up on the mobile podcasting equipment yet, but we'll get there, I'm sure, and in some point. Wanted to go over a few things, kind of give you the rundown. Again, this is your host, Matty, flying solo from the loft. Just a rundown of what we're covering today, kind of the opening topic. It was kind of a slow week in sports. And actually, when I say that, it was funny. Somebody asked me the other day, they said, why in the hell did you try to start a podcast in the middle of the summer when there's no football? The NBA Finals were winding down when we kind of first got this idea, so that was gone. You're in the dog days of baseball, and it's like you pick the worst time to start a sports podcast. And the more I thought about it, I said, well, shit, maybe you're right. But what I did think about was if we can make it through times like these when there's not a lot of ideas to talk about, we're going to be just fine when football season rolls around. We're going to be loaded with content and a lot of opinions by me and Smitty. Anyway, first topic today, just kind of wanted to get to what happened over the weekend in the sports world, which puts me at golf. I'm not a big, probably there's not a lot of people out there that want to listen to golf, but it's one of my passions. I do watch the majors. I watch most of the bigger tournaments. Some of the smaller ones I won't watch now that Tiger's not playing. Speaking of Tiger, by the way, it was just announced today that he's probably done for the season. I'm not sure anybody that thought he was actually going to come back and be worth a crap, but I'd love to see Tiger Woods back on the golf course. I think he's awesome for the game. A lot of people hate him, especially after his, relationships outside of his marriage would probably be the proper term for that. So a lot of people look down on him for that. He's a professional athlete. They live in different worlds than we do. Women throw themselves at you, so lot to deal with. I understand to his extent was pretty crazy as far as how long he actually took that and kind of went with the whole Denny's waitresses and all that junk. But, I'd love to see him back on the course, but that's not happening anytime soon. Anyway, the Open Championship, as they call it, we call it the British Open because we have our Open Championship, and I still think it's the best, but call it what you want. Phil Mickelson, Henrik Stenson, and I'll be honest with you, I didn't watch much of the early times. I didn't watch much at all Thursday. I didn't watch hardly any Friday. Very little on Saturday morning, and then I did watch pretty much the whole thing on Sunday morning though. Probably must-watch TV for any golf fan out there, or if you're just a fan of if you can sit one of those guys and can sit down and watch any sport at its highest level, you probably had a good time watching this shit. Because Phil Mickelson went off. He was in the lead by one stroke heading into. I believe he was in the lead by heading one stroke heading into Sunday, and Henrik Stenson was a stroke behind. Well, or maybe they were tied. Shit, I can't remember. Either way, moral of the story is Henrik Stenson fired a 63 on Sunday, which tied one of the greatest rounds in major events. All major championships, so 63. And I don't know this off the top of my head, but I'm pretty sure he shot 20 under, which also tied the low major championship total through 4 rounds. So I'm pretty sure he set that in a 63 on Sunday. Phil shot a 65 and still lost by 1. Okay, so that would make sense. So, yeah, Stenson had a 1-stroke lead heading in. Phil ends up going off, shooting a 65. And I think if you would have asked anybody that day if you said, hey, Phil Mickelson shot a 65 with, down one stroke on a Sunday afternoon. Does he win the tournament? I think most people say yes. But Henrik Stenson shot a 63, and my dad and I were sitting there watching, and I'm going, dude, if he's missed a putt, it's been by freaking half a centimeter. I mean, he was not missing putts by any large margin. Everything was tucked up close to the pin, even if it was a lag putt. He was punching every green right in the middle of it. He was putting himself in great spots to make birdies, and did it all damn day. It was amazing to watch, because just as you thought Stenson was going to pull away, Phil would fight back, and just as you thought Phil might take a lead, then all of a sudden Stenson goes second and puts it 8 feet inside of him. It was truly two heavyweights of the sport battling it out. If Phil's been around, I mean, Phil. The thing about Phil that kills me, and I was just thinking about this on my ride home, he's made it through a lot of generations of golfers, and he's still doing it. I think he's 46 years old now. He made it through the Tiger thing. He made it through there. He's still standing, and made a lot of money while Tiger was still playing, and that was his rival, obviously. So there was a lot of things in there that go back to Phil and Tiger, and now it's Phil and someone else. And not to discredit Henrik Stenson and his play, but it was Phil and someone else again. And Phil Mickelson's not gone away, and he's not going to. He's a solid player. He just plays the game, and he still enjoys it. Apparently, I mean, at 46 years old, I understand that golf's a pretty enjoyable game for a lot of people in the world. But man, for doing as long as he's done it, and to be on the top as long as he has, I'm not saying number one, but I'm saying the top 10 in the world golf rankings. To be number one is just been, I don't even know if he's ever been number one, but to be in that top 10 is pretty damn cool for as long as he's done it. Right now you got Henrik Stenson winning that. Good for him. Congratulations. It was a hell of a performance. That's his first major ever, and I believe the first one for anybody from Sweden. Isn't Sweden covered in snow, or is that maybe? I know it's a northern country, but it's up there with Norway and stuff like that. So I just figured it's mostly snow, but could be wrong. Maybe I'll have to go to Sweden sometime. The question was, it's Phil and somebody. Who's the star in the sport right now? Because it's kind of been weird. Last year at this time, everybody's all over Jordan Spieth, and he's still a star. Don't get me wrong. Everybody's all over Jordan Spieth. This is the next Tiger. And then this year, he's kind of fallen off. He finished well back in the field this past weekend. He did have a top 10 at the U.S. Open. And I believe he may even had a top 10 at the Masters. He's fallen off a little bit from his last year when he won 3 out of 4. The first 2, and then finished second in the third one. He's been amazing, but he's not at the top now. So right now your world golf rankings stand as Dustin Johnson, Jason Day, Rory McIlroy, Sergio Garcia, Wiley Vett, even though I don't like him. Jordan Spieth coming in at 5, Henrik Stenson at 6 after this weekend, and Phil sitting at number 7. Phil's the only guy that's been there that long. That's impressive. He's an old timer and knows how to play golf. Dustin Johnson, Jason Day, Rory McIlroy, Jordan Spieth, those 4 guys right there. To me, everybody thinks Tiger. Everybody wants Tiger back on the golf course, but right now you look at it, there's more athletic young players than there ever has been in the game of golf. And personally, we're not going to call it the golden age because you still got Jack and all the, Jack and Player and Arnie and all those guys. But right now there's 4 guys right in that top 7 guys that are still young. They got a lot of playing left. Dustin Johnson's a polarizing character. Just he's had his drug issues. He's married to a Wayne Gretzky's daughter, so everybody kind of likes that storyline. He's the party guy, this, that, and the other. Jason Day had his own troubles. Apparently, about stepped away from the game at one point in time. Rory McIlroy, perfect. He's an Ireland kid, Northern Ireland kid. Dated the hot tennis star for a little while, so he's got some pub from that. And then Jordan Spieth's just an all-around good guy. I don't think he does stays in the media too much outside of the Golf Boys and some of their skits they do on YouTube. If you haven't ever seen any of those, go Google YouTube and get to that. But that was pretty cool. So like I said, who's the star? I think there's lots of them, and I think it's probably better than it ever has been. So that's the answer to your question there. I'd love to have Tiger back, but if he's not there, you got a pretty good group of guys that's going to carry golf for a little while longer. Just a note here, by the way, going back to Stenson and Mickelson, that somebody just told me they had 14 birdies and an eagle between the two of them in that final round. 14 birdies and an eagle at a major championship. It's absolutely insane. So they played well. Just another note there. But one fun thing I did have, by the way, if you did not get a chance to, I was in the middle of probably about the fifth or sixth hole. I was going over to my parents' house, and I said, well, shit, let me pop on some radio, see if I can find a radio feed of this thing. So I pulled open the Open Championship app on my phone and pulled it up, got on their radio feed, and it was, my God, was it awesome. It was, if you think commentating golf on TV is hard, try to do it from a radio standpoint. Holy shit, and be excited about it, because that's the hardest damn part. I mean, golf, half people fall asleep with golf when they watch it on a Sunday afternoon. This was like 3 Scottish people, like a Scottish chick and 2 guys, and they were absolutely hilarious. I mean, every time, maybe it's just the way they speak, I don't know, but it was hilarious. And I heard, oh, he's just a wee bit past the hole, and you hear stuff like that, and you're like, he sounds so excited about it, and the way they have just the accent makes it amazing. But we listened to that for a little bit. It was pretty funny. I got to hear a wee bit about 19 times in about 30 minutes. But yeah, that was interesting. So they make it, kudos to those guys who can do golf on the radio, because that'd be damn hard. I don't even know where to start from there. But that's about all I got on golf. Looking forward to one more major left in the year. Like I said, World Golf Rankings got Dustin Johnson, Jason Day, Rory, Spieth, Sergio, Stenson, and Phil. One of those guys is going to be up there, or it could be somebody new. I don't know. I think that's the cool part about golf is you do got some new stars that are kind of rolling out there. Some of these young kids that are coming in there. Last one was Spieth. We'll have another one here in probably 6 months. So, moving on from that, just kind of don't really have a segue per se, but just moving on to the second topic of the day. All right, so I wanted to make a session real quick that I'm always going to hit like my 3 teams that I root for or follow, which is the Detroit Tigers, Notre Dame football, and Jacksonville Jaguars football. So I just kind of build in like a little 3-4 minute update every show, just because it's something I want to do. Maybe we'll have some Jaguar fans, some Irish fans, and Detroit fans out there, but who knows. So first thing I want to start off with the Tigers. They're currently 6 games out of first place, or 6.5 now, I think, after tonight. But God, every time that Mike Pelfrey comes up on the upcoming list to pitch, I get a headache. They signed this guy. He was in Minnesota for a while. They didn't sign him for a lot of money, but it's like, everybody was up on him. It's like, okay, well, he's a 5th starter. Well, I think he's worse than that because, God, every time he goes out, he just gets rocked. But he is 2-9 right now with a 4.95 ERA, and the staggering one to me, he's pitched 100 innings this year. And he's given up 134 freaking hits. And I don't know how many of those are extra base hits. I didn't check that, but I'm sure it's a good amount. But just get rid of this guy or find a young guy and give him a shot, for God's sakes. That'd be great because I'm sick of watching it. And I know the Tigers don't give a shit, in my opinion, but whatever. I'm going to give it anyway. So, just kind of going through that. Football's close. So basically what I did with the Jaguars and the Notre Dame thing is there's 2 things kind of surrounding Notre Dame football. One's the quarterback race between Deshaun Kaiser and Malik Zaire. So what I did is I put up a Twitter poll. It's on the at Last Pick Pod. So you can just search Last Pick Podcast or at Last Pick Pod. You should be able to find both polls. So the one is who should start for the Irish coming down to this 2016 season. And for the Jaguars question, it was the over-under in Vegas, I believe right now is 7.5 for the Jags. So you get an option of over 8 games or 7 or under on those 2. So I'm not even going to comment on those. I'll give you my feedback when we get results. So that's going to move us on to just some weekend shenanigans. So I was watching baseball this weekend outside of that because baseball was on at night and the British Open's on at butt ass early in the morning. And some of us had to work on Thursday and Friday, so we didn't get a chance to sit around all day and watch that. Actually, that's not true. Thursday morning I did. I kind of stayed home from work and watched most of it, but don't tell anybody. Jeff, if you're listening, I apologize. Anyway, next topic. I do